the name Kanyi Mavi is definitely right up there with the greats. This lyricist is known for her gritty bars, and her music is most famous for tackling social ills that the youth in South Africa are currently going through. So let's have a look at her song Ingoma from her critically acclaimed debut album Intombi Zifikile.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Kanyi Mavi, and of course this song comes off her critically acclaimed debut album, Intombi Zifikile. Intombi Zifikile.
Yes.
Now, of course, it means the women have arrived. It was released in 2012, confirmed, and of course, you are a force to be reckoned with in the South African hip-hop scene. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, just one look at you, you look like a star.
Okay.
But upon, listening to your work, and of course, watching your music videos, I mean, what a powerful, powerful performance you put on in every aspect. But I want to go to the beginning.
Yeah.
We're gonna speak about that. Where did you grow up, and where did this love of hip hop and this need to communicate your social commentary come from?
I grew up in Gugulethu,
Yeah.
as well as Hazeldean, which is just outside of Philippi.
Yeah.
I was born in Gugulethu, that's where my grandmother stayed, and my mom bought her own house in Hazeldean, and I grew up there. Music has always been a part of my life, not out of the ordinary, you understand.
Yeah.
I started performing just like a lot of kids do, in schools, in churches, in choirs.
Yeah.
If a lady is starting a dance club or a singing club, we'll be there, But as I grew older, I remember maybe around standard 4 or 5, standard.
Yeah, well, back then, I was there too.
That time, yeah. Around that time, then I really got into hip-hop. And it was mainly just the rap songs that I heard on radio and television.
Yeah.
And when I got into high school, then I got really a lot of access to the music from the older girls and the older guys. And yeah, that's where it started.
Is it true that you kind of were discovered by writing your own stuff and then going to do like an open mic night, like an open rap battle? I mean, how does it work?
No, I was never discovered. It's something that I knew that I wanted to do, and I just went for it. Yeah.
How terrifying is that? I mean, and how much preparation, do you know your verses and your lyrics? Or is it like an 8 Mile where you're just spontaneously putting on a rap battle? But to go and pick up a mic in front of all these people, I mean, must sound terrifying.
It was okay. It was okay because it was a place where a lot of people were starting out.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel alone in that regard when I'm talking about the open mic sessions.
Yeah.
But prior to that, like I said, I'd been on stages before, growing up, let's say, in schools and in churches or at home. So it wasn't that frightening. I think the most frightening thing was whether or not people are going to understand and relate to what I have to say.
Exactly.
But to perform itself, that was not the biggest...
And how's it been going for you? Are people relating to what you're saying? Because I know, and I mean, I also want to know your view on the South African music scene at the moment. Because reading your bio, you do so well overseas. You tour all over the world. You've won all of these international awards. And in South Africa, I think you find it a bit of a struggle to get playlisted on radio stations.
Yeah. I mean, I think in South Africa, there's a need to box every artist.
Yeah.
And that is very limiting to the growth of South African music as the industry. I think also the media plays a big role in who gets to be on the media platforms.
Yeah.
And in terms of just supporting the local artists.
Yeah.
So I feel like for most parts, it's just the rotation of the same artist over and over again.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with those artists being on those platforms. It's just that there's enough room to allow other artists to be on platforms too.
Exactly.
And I say this because I've met so many great musicians outside of South Africa who are from South Africa, but I've met them in Europe, I've met them in the States, I've met them in other places, and they're doing really well, you know. And it's really just because we are limited. We limit ourselves in terms of what we can produce as a country. You know.
But listening to your stuff and then watching music videos, your work is so impactful. You can even see it like in your eyes in your music videos, so passionate. But you also make an impact on so many other things, like you do a youth development program as well.
Yes, we started this with a group of musicians and sportsmen and magicians and chefs, and it was just a group of entertainers and people who cared. And we started this initiative called Outspoken Youth Initiative. And our main thing was to mobilize young people to help out in their communities. Because what we have is, we have the public platforms, like people can identify our faces and they understand our voices. So we can use those to help our communities. It was a really, really great initiative. And we supported an old age home and an orphanage.
Wow,
and we did other things in between as well. We'd visit prisoners, especially young prisoners.
Sure.
We'd lots of activities.
Well, you're amazing, and we're so happy to have you here today.
Thank
and
you.
you're going to be performing for us a little
Yes,
bit
I
later
will
on the
be.
show. We cannot wait. We're going to chat to you again then.
All right. Thank you very much
for being here.